Okay, push record and timer. Okay, so thanks so much for watching this, folks. So this 15th episode, Yumio to Ohanashi, features a fantasy author of the Obsidian series, Sienna Frost from Thailand. Thanks for joining here, Sienna. So can you briefly introduce yourself to us?
Okay, Sawadee ka. So I'm a Thai fantasy author. I live in Bangkok. I've been writing for 30 years, but I've just published my first book. I mean, it's not literally my first book, but I've just published it 2 years ago in 2021, late 2021. So yeah, so I just have one debut out right now. Book 2 is coming, but that's me. So, but thanks for inviting me here. It's
no problem. Thank you. And your real name is Kazornwan Chun. So, how did you come up with Sienna Frost, your author name?
I was a fan fiction writer before. I was writing romance. I was writing all sorts of other things, and I kind of want to be. I don't want to connect with that old because I wrote fan fiction with my real name and Faye, and I want to and I want to write this more serious literary fantasy series now. So I like the idea of changing pen names for each kind of book that I write. There's a Thai author who does that. She has 4 pen names, and you can tell by her pen names what kind of books you're gonna be getting into. Sometimes it's a romance, sometimes it's all tragic, sometimes it's a very serious. So I really like that. And I also I want to test. I don't want to use my Asian privilege because I feel like you do have that. You have to admit that there is a hype for it. And I want to see what if I publish as someone who sounds, American or Western, and see if I still I can still get the attention if I write a really good book. Hopefully, it's a really good book. But as I said, I chose a Western name because I want to try and I want to ride that hype.
I see, because some Asian countries such as Korea or some part of China, their first name is kind of difficult to pronounce, and I was lucky that my name is pretty easy because you get to just say you, me, and O, and that's it. So
you, me, and O.
Yes, so that is yes. Your choice is kind of pretty wise because lots of probably many Americans having hard time reading your first name as a Kazornwan, I think.
Okay, I have yes. a few editors telling me that I should have published under that name, though, because it sounds foreign.
I see. So what is your temporary goal or any kind of accomplishment?
Right now, I would say the book 1 being published.
Great.
One did relatively well, considering that I didn't do any marketing. I wasn't planning for the launch. I just sort of threw it out there. And according to most people, it's considered well done for the first time indie book. So,
yes, our first book is always difficult.
Recently won 5 categories of Indie Ink Awards, so happy for that. But I think what I feel is the best accomplishment is finding some really dedicated fans who are now helping me with so much support me. So they've become my best friends. They are handling my website, my promotion. They're helping me with marketing. It's wonderful.
I see. And how can you briefly describe your work?
It's well, my debut, the one that I chose to publish, is literally fantasy called Obsidian. It's going to be a series, yes. And it's literally because it concentrates more on the struggle of humanity and the complications of our relationships with each other, much more than the fantasy elements. I'm not even sure if it's considered fantasy because I don't have magic or dragons or any creatures. Just made up countries and made up cultures and races.
That kind of fantasy.
Yes, that kind of low fantasy. But you're following you're basically following the journey of 7 main characters who are going through this very brutal world with racial conflicts, clashing religions and traditions, sort of like our world today, just in more historical setting. And they will show you how to survive this while being broken and scarred along the way. Well, the name of the series actually refers to the property of the rock itself, where you have to, it's used as a weapon, but you would have to break it first for it to become a weapon. So everything you read about this series is about people who are sharper, better, stronger after they've been broken than when they were whole. And I like that concept because I'm 46. I've been through life through a lot of things, and I feel like I'm only getting stronger every time that that I'm knocked down and I can get up again. And I feel like that has to be shared. So this is a story of not just the one MC, the one hero. I wanted it to be 7 more. Probably it's gonna grow into more, with more characters, because I want to show it from every perspective. You have a character who's a
great.
Who's a teenager, who's a son, who's the brother, father, mother, parents. So from every angle of my life that I've been through, the struggles that I've been through, I want to show how I've survived that through these characters, and hopefully readers who are reading it at whatever age they are can take something from my experience as a whole.
I see. So how many volumes are you thinking to publish?
I'm a pantser. I don't know.
Not yet so far.
For sure they won't be less than 3 because I'm about to finish book 2, and it's definitely gonna be book 3. But I'm not sure if I can wrap it up by 3. It could go on till 10. I'm a fan of the Wheel of Time, so beware.
Yes, yeah, I was born in 1976. I pretty much accumulated. I've seen a lot of things, and my life experience pretty much reflects to my screenwriting story. So, how about when did you discover the joy of writing?
I've always had stories in my head since I don't know, 6. When I remember, and I've always needed some way to record them. Actually, what's interesting is I didn't start out writing. I started out drawing manga. Because that was the medium that I grew up in. I discovered manga. I was reading manga, and then I learned to draw. And while I was about 14 when I was still struggling with drawing my first few pages of manga. A friend introduced a book to me. I read that first book. I hadn't finished that first book, and I was like, wow, this is another way I can record my stories. And I started writing right away. And
I see. So,
writing bits, yeah.
Which manga influenced you the most?
Which manga?
Which manga?
What's
the title?
You mean the one that started me?
You read it. The one that you read it and you got influenced from.
Oh, I can't remember. That was
too many. I said.
Too many. I read thousands of manga because that was the only thing I had going when we were young. Yeah, so I don't even remember what my first manga was.
I see. And what is your writing advice?
You write for you. This is the only advice I would give other writers. In the end, you have to write for you because if it doesn't work in any way, I think for one thing, unless you love your characters, unless you love your stories, unless you believe in them, you are incapable of making other people love them. For one thing, so that it has to begin from that. Also, if you don't find the right readers, in the end, it wouldn't be a waste of time, right? Because you actually did something that made you happy. I think that's very important for writers to always remember.
I see. How about what is your major influence?
That would still be manga.
I see.
And movies. There was a time, like I've read thousands of series, hundreds of series and thousands of volumes of manga, but there were times when I also watched like 300 movies a year.
Ah,
So
300. That is pretty good.
from every corner of the world. So I'm pretty much exposed to all kinds of cultures. So I would say my influence and the way I write is I take bits and pieces of what's good about, what I like about different countries and how they do things and sort of put it together. And that's why a lot of people feel like my book is very different because I don't do things the American or the Asian way or the Thai way or the Japanese way. It's a mixture of everything, but it's most heavily influenced by Japanese manga.
Yes, and that goes to the next question. What is your any favorite Japanese anime or manga?
I usually don't watch anime because I prefer the manga form. I prefer to see the art directly from the artist because I feel like with anime you lose that. You don't actually see the emotions and everything from the original artist. But my number one, and this is not just manga, two of my number one stories of all time. I'm a big fan of Tamura Yumi sensei.
Tamura Yumi.
The Legend of BASARA is the one that influenced me the most. It stays with me for life. And it remains my unbeatable favorite story to this day. I love all the characters. I love the journey. I love the way she does things. And then the other one is actually an anime because my friend introduced Legend of Galactic Heroes to me out of I think 6-7 years ago, the older version. It blew my mind, and to this day it's the anime to end all for me. It's the story to end all for me. And so those are the two most epic story experience I've had till today.
Yes, I see. Yes, the Tanaka Yoshiki, he is pretty good at the finishing up the story because the many Japanese fantasy authors cannot finish the story, and unfortunately, some authors pass away, like a Green Saga's author. So that's why Tanaka Yoshiki is pretty done a solid job, I think. So we're kind of running out of time, unfortunately. But let's wrap up. So, any message to those watching this interview?
No, just thank you for watching this, and
no problem. Thank you.
If you haven't, go watch Legend of Galactic Heroes.
No, my wife. Yes, my wife watched it. Yes, it is very enjoyable.
For the viewers as well. I mean,
I see. Yes, I also recommend the Legend of Galactic one, especially the remake one, I think. So finally, what is the most encouraging phrase that you recite when you want to pump up your motivation or crawl out from a rock bottom?
When I hit rock bottom, I always imagine some kind of divine being up there messing up with my life, and what I say to that is, just come at me, have at it, and see if you have what it takes to knock me down. So I kind of take it as a challenge, and I get angry instead.
Yeah, sometimes it's better to get angry.
Somebody's messing with me, and I feel like, you don't have it.
Yes, we should have those angry emotion, even we are adults, because adults should not get angry, as I say, but we have to get angry sometimes. Okay, folks, thank you so very much, Sienna. Her work is called the Obsidian series. So, folks, if you're interested in Sienna, please pick her work and follow her account because she's pretty active online, such as yesterday, November 19, she kind of reacted to those how should we have those young adult, we call YA novels, have more labels, and that was kind of interesting to read. And also her cat, maybe you recognize behind because the cat across your back sometimes. Anyhow, thank you so much, Sienna, and I wish you a great success, and we'll keep in touch. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.